Fantastic. My name is Atkinson. I'm the Communications Manager for the Deeperd Grains team. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. This morning we're going to take you through some of the grains extension resources that we have available, so you can learn a bit more about some of the exciting and interesting work being undertaken by our incredible Deeperd team. I'm joined today by my colleagues Adrianna, Cindy, Jeanette and Jean, and they're going to be also taking you through some of the work that they are looking at. All of the resources that we're covering off today are free, and to make things easier, there is a page on the GGA website with all of the links and more information on everything that you will hear about today, so you don't have to furiously be taking notes. We've got everything consolidated in the one spot. If you do have any questions, we just ask that you pop them into the chat box and we'll answer all of those at the end. So let's dive in. Who exactly is the Deeperd Grains team? We have more than 150 amazing, passionate research and technical staff, most of them that you can see on the screen at the moment. We all share one overarching purpose, and that's to create adoptable knowledge, practices and tools to sustain and improve the profitability of the WA grains industry. So our role as a team is twofold. We research, develop, integrate and deliver grain production technologies. We also facilitate and enable grains industry growth and adaptation. Bit more about us. We currently have more than 74 active projects underway. They're all focused on creating adaptable knowledge practices to sustain and improve the WA grains industry. Now, to learn more about those projects, we've got the main projects available to look at on the Agric website. So we used to be Department of Ag, now we're Deeperd, our website is still Agric. So our projects are split into 4 different areas. We have the crop protection, and the crop protection team are looking at pests, weeds and disease. They are a very passionate group of people that are generating some really exciting new technologies for the early identification of pests, weeds and disease. They're also doing some really amazing stuff in reducing chemical inputs. So definitely some projects in there that you must take a look at. Next up is our soil science and crop nutrition team. These amazing people are identifying new management techniques to improve the efficiency of water and nutrient use, so that you have better chemical and biological characteristics of the soil. The crop science and grain production team are the amazing people that are responsible for our crop sowing guide publication. I'll be taking you through that in a little while, but they are providing industry with the information and tools to optimise the management of your major crop types and varieties. They're looking at improving yield and quality, and just doing some amazing stuff on the ground. And finally, our genetic improvement team. What an amazing bunch of people that are really looking at the crops of the future. If you want to understand more about what the industry is going to be looking like in terms of available varieties, have a look at the genetic improvement projects. They're developing and evaluating new breeding lines and genetic solutions, looking specifically at the WA environmental conditions. They pass a lot of their work over to breeding companies, and those breeding companies are developing your superior crop varieties. So just on the website, you'll be able to see our projects listed just like they are. I just wanted to give you a quick overview. So when you do head over to the Agric website, you have a bit more of an idea. All of the projects that you see here are clickable, so you'll be able to go in and have a deep dive into some of the amazing work that we are doing. When you do click on those projects, they will give you a bit of an overview, a description, and most importantly, they give you a contact name. So if you are after more information about any of these projects, you can reach out directly to the researcher. Our team of more than 150 are working all across WA. We have research facilities at Geraldton, Wongan Hills, Northam, Merredin, Katanning, Esperance and Albany. And across the entirety of the state, we have over 400 field and glasshouse trials annually. So there is a lot of work going on to figure out everything that we're trying to combat and improve. So speaking of trials, we have online the most amazing trials map. It's updated each year in August and has over 250 research experiments that you can go and take a look at. It's a really helpful resource to discover what's happening on the ground to improve productivity and profitability. These projects there's a lot of them that are undertaken solely by DPIRD, but on here you'll also see projects that are undertaken with external parties like GRDC, CSIRO, universities, and of course, grower groups. Each trial has a number and contact details, so you can communicate directly with the research scientists to find out more about the work being undertaken. So each icon that you see, when you do click on that icon, it comes up with a box with this information. So just a really fantastic way to see, particularly in your area, what trials are being undertaken. The next resource I want to take you through is our fantastic selection of free soils ebooks. Now, these are, there's 9 in total. They're all free and they are published by Soils West, which is an alliance between DPIRD and WA universities. And of course, they're supported by GRDC. So these are a compilation of where we've had contributors from universities. The DPIRD staff contribute a lot to these ebooks. And just to give you a bit more of an idea about what an ebook is, it is designed to be an interactive experience. So unlike the Kindle, in an ebook, there are clickable videos, animations, graphics, case studies, pop-ups, interactive maps. It is really, really incredible. And you will find these ebooks in any Apple, so basically what I'm trying to say is you need an Apple device to be able to see, download these products. So whether you have an iPhone, an iPad or a Mac, you just open up the Apple Books app, which was previously known as iBooks, and you'll be able to download all of these books for free. The great thing about the ebook is that you can go as in-depth or as high level as you want. So you can get basically information at the pace that you're comfortable with. The next product I wanted to talk to you about is the WA Crop Sowing Guide. This is an annual publication that we have been producing in one form or another for many, many years. It gives growers the more insight into the best choice of variety for each of the major crops for the upcoming season. In the most recent edition, we introduced 19 new variety releases. And on the right of the screen, I've just popped a table of contents so you can see the way the crop sowing guide is laid out, showing each of the major commodities. So to get a copy, you can head over to the DPIRD website and download a copy for free. Alternatively, if you want a hard copy, we have a request form on the website, and all you need to do is pop in your details and we will post you a hard copy. There is also copies at your local DPIRD regional office. So head on down, grab a copy. It's free. You can have as many copies as you like, and such a valuable resource that our team put so much work into compiling. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you would like any more information on anything that I or my colleagues speak about, we have a consolidated list on the GGA website. On the right here is a screenshot of that, because we're going to be talking to you about some amazing e-newsletters and podcasts and apps. And if you would like to contact me, my email address is amber.atkinson@dpird.wa.gov.au. Now I will pass you over to my colleague, Adrianna, who's going to be talking to you about our grains combo products.
Great, thank you, Amber. Hi, everyone. I'm Adrianna, and I'm the Grains Communications Officer at DPIRD and GGA. So I come from a journalism and media background, having previously worked in radio broadcasting for a number of radio news stations. And my two main outputs come under the Grains Combo umbrella. So within that umbrella, it's DPIRD Grains new projects, project milestones and/or highlights, and finishing projects. Next slide. Sorry, there's just a bit of a delay in getting the next slide. Okay, so I'll go through the podcast first. It's released on the 1st and 15th of each month, and it's hosted by our research scientist, Cindy Webster, or Jeanette Pratt, who you'll hear from later in this presentation. And the first episode was released in 2021, and our most recent was the 1st of this month. So you can find the podcast if you just search up Grains Combo on Spotify, or through Apple Podcasts, or again through the GGA Grains extension page on the GGA website, just there. So what can you expect to hear in the Grains Combo podcast? So it can be anything from dry season resources, drone imaging in pest management, time of sowing and heat stress impacts, liming acidic soil after harvest, harvesting short patchy crops, protecting WA soils against wind erosion, and the impact of a dry season on pests, weeds, and diseases. That's just to name a few, though. If it's a project relating to DPIRD grains, you can likely expect to hear it on the podcast. So our top episodes so far are these three here: managing low ground cover on sandy soils in the West Midlands, research project yields new wheat lines to help with yellow spot, soil testing and increasing productivity from N, P and K. So again, a vast range of topics that we cover. So believe it or not, we have listeners from within WA, as well as national listeners, as well as listeners from all around the globe. Our subject matter experts have a range of life experiences, and they even travel around the country to promote their work. So we pride ourselves on having published over 50 episodes, and over 4,500 downloads so far. So the Grains Combo podcast has been recognised in publications, including these ones here, the Facey Connect newsletter, and in Soils West aggregate newsletter as well too. So word has been getting around. So on to the newsletter now. The Grains Combo newsletter, just like the podcast, features stories from new projects, project milestones and highlights, and completed projects. I write all of the pieces and publish it on the last day of each month as a monthly kind of roundup, if you will. You need to subscribe to read the articles, but I'll make sure you have an opportunity to subscribe later on in the presentation. So just like the podcast, we cover a range of topics from our rockstar research scientists at DPIRD, which include DPIRD related events or speakers, meet the team profiles, industry news from AGIC, research collaborations, the disease modelling apps, which you'll also hear from later in this presentation. Basically just anything that our researchers are doing all goes into this publication. So how do you find it? Just give Grains Combo a Google, and as you can see here, all of our outputs come up. The podcast, the newsletter, everything is all there for you, neatly packaged. So who reads the newsletter? There's over 350 readers, and our vast and wide audience includes, but is not limited to at this stage, agribusiness, uni research bodies, agros, consultants, farmers, breeding companies, public servants, and grower groups. Just like the podcast, our readership extends well and truly beyond WA and even Australia. This is our main newsletter, having been read by people from, the US, clicks in France and clicks in Hong Kong and reads in Hong Kong as well too. So if you'd like to get in touch for any article suggestions, podcast idea suggestions, I'm more than open to that. You could just contact me on those 3 addresses. And just before our next guest pops up, if you'd like to subscribe to the newsletter or have a listen to the podcast, there's just the QR codes there. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Adrianna. My name is Cindy Webster, and I'm taking on the next part of the presentation. I'm a research scientist based at Narrogin. I grew up on a farm west of Kingley. My parents and brother and sister-in-law and their family still farm there, so still very actively involved in the farming community and very passionate about farmers and helping them. I'm a mum of 2 children and 1 dog, Rosie, as I was showing at the start of the presentation. And I've been working at the Narrogin DPIRD office since 2006. In a variety of projects, I used to work in the grains field trials, I've worked with grower groups, and then moving into the communication space, I've been an editor for several DPIRD publications before moving into the project management space. And so today I'm going to talk to you about the PestFacts WA service in particular. Apologies. And this service, just to give a bit of background, operates under a brand new project called the DPIRD Seasonal Status of Pests and Diseases delivered to growers. We are funded until 2029 via GRDC co-investment, and the project is made up of 3 large components. We have a broadacre insect surveillance component, where we gather insect surveillance data from the public and from our research scientists. We also have a broadacre plant disease surveillance components, where again, we gather data from research staff as well as the public. And then we have our communications and extension component of the project, which I'm going to dive into a bit more detail now. So the PestFacts WA e-newsletter is one of our major outputs from this service, as you can see in the screen. The aim of this newsletter is to alert WA growers and consultants about what pests and diseases are happening across the WA grain belt. We also provide information on how to identify that pest and disease and how to sustainably manage it. We also provide links to our subject matter experts for people that need more information. And we publish this newsletter on Fridays as required during the growing season, so from April to the end of October. If it's a really busy week and we're getting reports of lots of diseases and pests in the landscape, we will be publishing every Friday. If it's quiet, we may publish every second or third. So basically, we are just trying to get the information out to our subscribers as fast as we can. And our main goal is to reduce any yield and profit loss from pest and disease damage. So the sooner that growers can identify and manage a pest or disease, the less yield loss there is to their crop and pasture. So that is our goal. We have 950 subscribers. This newsletter is a very long-running publication. It's been going since 1996. It actually used to be faxed via fax machine to our subscribers. So until recently, it was called Pest Fax, F-A-X. And we recently rebranded it to Pest Fax because a lot of our younger subscribers might not have ever seen or heard of a fax machine. So just a bit of background history there. It's a very long-running publication. Our articles are also promoted on X or Twitter. So under the Deep Herd Broadacre Twitter or X handle, you'll see us actively getting our messages out there to the WA grains industry. So if you're interested in subscribing to this newsletter, we are located under the tools and support section of the Agric website, and feel free to click on our subscribe button. And all we need from you is a name and an email address. Again, it's a free publication. So yes, and the link is on the screen if you want to go directly to that page, where you can also see all our, I think it's 3 years worth of our prior newsletter articles. Another tool or service we provide is a PestFax WA map. This map is linked to our database, which has hosted all our occurrences of pests and diseases that we have received since 1996. So to use this map, a user can go on in there and you select what date you are looking at. In this example, I've selected the middle of September in 2022. For the 2-week time period before this date, I just wanted to see what was happening in the landscape. If you click on those shaded squares, underneath that date selection will come up with the details of what was reported, what pest or disease. If you wanted to know how many wheat powdery mildew reports were received for 2023, you just can use those drop-down parameters and select all that information. So that's just another very handy tool to help growers and consultants. And this map is used very widely by the grains industry. It's just a nice visual representation of pests and disease occurrences. We also provide a free identification service for broadacre pests and diseases. This app has currently been undergoing a major upgrade, so it should be back online any day now. It has been designed purely for growers and consultants in the paddock. So it's free, available in the app and Google Play Store. And all we need is a name and some contact details. And once it's all downloaded, it's very, very easy to use. It will prompt you for the minimum requirements that we need. For example, we just need a date of when you found the pest or disease, what crop or pasture you found it in, and ideally, if you don't know what it is, 2 or 3 really nice close-up pictures, just so that our experts can really see what you are looking at. And then you can select whether you want an emailed or phone call back with that identification request. Or if you know what you're finding in the paddock and you just want to let us know so we can tell the grains industry, we really appreciate those reports as well. So we can provide you a free ID or we will gratefully receive any reports of broadacre pests and diseases. And we are also very well aware that mobile service across the WA grain belt can be quite patchy. So if you're in the middle of the paddock and you know there's no mobile reception, don't panic. please make your report, click submit. It will capture your report and your GPS coordinates. And then when you do get back into mobile reception, the app will automatically send that report off for you. So don't feel like mobile coverage is going to reduce your use of this app. We know what you guys are working with out there, so we have worked around that. Another aspect of the department that I just wanted to promote, this is not part of my project, but the department has a large role in the biosecurity space. So the department has an app called the My Pest Guide Reporter, and it's available on the app and Google Play Store. And this one is really a biosecurity insect background focus. So in this case, if you find an unusual pest in your crop, in your pantry, underneath your child's bed, or in that new couch you just got imported from somewhere, and you might suspect, oh, this looks, I haven't seen anything like this before, please feel free to use this app to take a photo and send it through to the subject matter experts. And this is just to help us just to identify any potential insects that might be of grave biosecurity concerns. And jumping back to the PestFacts WA service now, another tool that we provide is an insecticide spray guide. We have a winter-spring version and an autumn-winter version. And the purpose of this guide is to provide a guideline of what in the crop and the main pests that you may experience in that crop, what are the registered recommended chemical rates. And as being DPIRD, we do not promote any specific chemicals or products. We are unbiased. We just provide a guideline of all the chemicals out there, and you are welcome to choose whatever product you choose, but we just provide a guideline of this is what chemical you can use to control red-legged earth mite in canola, for example. And we update this every year, but as always, we can use this as a guide, but we always tell our growers, make sure you read the label before you do apply your insecticide. But this is another handy tool that you can use to help you with your spray decisions if you wish. Webinars. We deliver 2 webinars each year at the PestFacts WA service. We delivered one in May this year. It was a 2024 Climate and Pest Outlook for the WA Grain Belt. If you missed that webinar, the recording is on the DPIRD YouTube channel, so feel free to go online and have a look at that one. We also plan to do a disease version in August or September, so stay tuned. I'll be advertising that webinar soon, and feel free to subscribe to register and attend. And if you can't make it in person, don't panic. We will have that webinar recording placed on the DPIRD YouTube channel as well as the PowerPoint slides we put on our website. Another service we provide is we do an annual disease and insect identification training course for our WA consultants. This year it's been held on Tuesday, the 20th of August, and it goes until Thursday, the 22nd of August. It's been held in Perth at the Metro Hotel. There is a cost for attending, but you can choose which components you'd like to attend and learn. If you want to attend all 3 days, that's absolutely fine. That's the cost on the screen. But you can also choose, if you just want to learn how to identify broadacre diseases, you can choose to attend the 2-day disease component. If you just want to learn about insects, broadacre insects, how to be trained how to identify them, you can register to attend just the 1-day insect component. We have that flexibility. And we are actually collecting expressions of interest as we speak up until Friday, the 2nd of August. If you would like to attend, or if you know someone who would like to attend this training course, please email Jeff Thomas, whose email address is on the screen. He is one of the presenters and organisers of this course. His phone number is also there. The reason why we are doing an expressions of interest rather than a direct registration is because there is limited space. We have the team collects a lot of insects and disease specimens. We have microscopes. It's hands-on. It's not just sitting down and being talked to all day. We have a very large hands-on component, which means that there's only so many spaces that we can have in this training course. So once you register your expressions of interest by this date, if you are selected, you will be emailed a registration link where you can select your days, your payment options, and your dietary requirements. So that's just another option. And if you miss this year's, we'll be also providing another course for the next four seasons until 2029. So that's it for my section. Feel free to email the PestFacts WA email address that is on the screen if you do have any questions, or please feel free to contact me directly and I'll be happy to have a chat or answer any questions. And I'll now hand over to my colleague, Jeanette Pratt, to talk about her Protecting WA Crops e-newsletter.
Thank you, Cindy. Good morning. As Cindy mentioned, my name is Jeanette Pratt and I'm a research scientist in crop protection at DPIRD based in Moora. A little bit of background about myself is that I grew up on a farm and station on the Murchison River right on the very, very edge of the Northampton Shire and one of the northernmost tips of the grain belt. And I am currently living on a farm in Myling with my husband and our 2 kids. It's my husband's family farm, so farming is in my background. I've been working in farming systems and grains for more than 20 years with DPIRD, and my current role involves working in the disease modelling project, and I'm also the editor of the Protecting WA Crops newsletter, as well as Adrianna mentioned, one of the hosts of the Grains Combo podcast. So enough about me. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the Protecting WA Crops newsletter. So this newsletter is an electronic newsletter that's sent out to subscribers. As you've heard from Adrianna about the Grains Combo newsletter, which highlights projects across all of grains, the Protecting WA Crops focuses on the research that's being carried out by the crop protection group within grains. So crop protection is covering the pests, weeds and diseases that are impacting crop production in Western Australia. This newsletter is a fantastic resource for growers and consultants. It has a lot of in-depth information about research that's being carried out and trial results from those projects. And it also summarises and presents the main findings from projects that are finishing and has links to resources where you can find further information on that topic. So the newsletter is providing the latest up-to-date information for growers to aid in crop management and just to mitigate any potential risks in your crop. It also differs from PestFacts in that it's not responsive to issues in pests and diseases like PestFacts is. As PestFacts goes out, as Cindy mentioned, as things are popping up during the season, the Protecting WA Crops is more not so reactive. It's not necessarily timely. It's based more on when the results are coming out from projects rather than things that are coming out during the season. So as part of the newsletter, we always have a Meet the Crop Protection Team section. And this is where we introduce a team member, what their role is and work history and hobbies are from the department. The crop protection team has just under 50 research scientists and technical officers, which are all amazing. And many of these officers are nationally and sometimes internationally recognised in their field. And the section aims to introduce the team member as a point of contact for their area of expertise and just to be able to put a face to their name. So if you do happen to need to give them a call about something, then it's a little bit easier. You know who they are, a little bit about them. I really like this section because it has some really interesting stories that are highlighted. For example, this picture that you can see on the screen on the right-hand side, this is David Nicholson, one of our technical officers. He's been with us since 1988. And as you can see from these images, he's progressed from this little tractor that he is riding to the image on the left, which is an electro-weeding machine. which Dave is the application manager or the application expert, and the only one in WA that's actually qualified to drive that, to operate that machine. So some very interesting stories in that little section. So a little bit about the newsletter. It comes out the last week of every month except for December and January, and this is just because we recognise that you are growers and consultants are either on harvesters or possibly away on holidays. So we tend to take those December and January months off. It currently has 840 subscribers, and this is a mix of agronomists, consultants, researchers, other industry bodies, and these subscribers are from all over Australia. And the first newsletter was sent out in April in 2017. So a little bit about crop protection. There's currently 27 crop protection projects that DPIRD is involved in, with co-investment from collaborators like GRDC. There are also 2 DPIRD and partner-funded projects. So all of these projects encompass virology, entomology, weeds, and across disciplines such as with the soils group. So they might be combined doing projects together. And you can see the breakup of what those projects are according to this pie graph. So all the information that's provided in WA crops is from local West Australian trials, either on research facilities or on farm. But in some cases, they benefit from findings and input from external experts and trials that are from across Australia, because quite a lot of our projects are national projects as well. So as I mentioned before, the crop protection team has some cutting edge researchers that are at the forefront of the industry. An example that I mentioned earlier was electric weed control. The department is the lead research organisation in an Australia First trial investigating whether electro-weeding could be used in broadacre agriculture as an alternative weed control method. And this is just to mitigate herbicide resistance. And this is a project, a collaborative project between AgExtend Europe, GRDC, Wine Australia, and the Cotton Research and Development Corporation. So if you were to click on this link, I don't think my internet is going to allow me to open it, but this gives like a little snippet, 20-second snippet of the Zasso machine that is being used in trials, and just shows you how it works. And another example of what's something that's featured in Protecting WA Crops is our DPIRD entomologists are currently researching a new weevil that was discovered in the Dongara and Minanoo area. And this Dongara weevil has been found to be damaging canola seedlings, but very little is known about it because it's only recently discovered. So all the latest results from this project have been talked about in one of the Protecting WA Crops newsletter, and from other projects, and they're highlighted in the newsletter to keep growers and consultants informed on what's happening. So, how to subscribe to the Protecting WA Crops newsletter. If you were to go onto the AgRic website, www.agric.wa.gov.au, this is the homepage, and if you scroll down on the homepage, you'll see down the bottom it's got newsletters, and if you look where it says view all newsletters, just highlight it in red and click on that link. It comes up with this page, and as you can see on the left-hand side, it has Protecting WA Crops. It also has Grains Convo and PestFacts WA there as well. If you click on the Protecting WA Crops, it comes up with this little box on the right that you can enter your details in, and that will automatically subscribe you to the newsletter, and you will receive the next newsletter that comes out. So if you would like any more information, feel free to email myself at protectwacrops@dpird.wa.gov.au, or I've also supplied my phone number there. So feel free to give me a call anytime with any questions, or if there's any particular topics that you might want to hear more about, feel free to flick me an email or give me a call. I am now going to hand over to Jean Galloway, and Jean's going to be discussing apps. Thank you very much for having me on today.
Thank you, Jeanette. So good morning, everyone. I'm Jean Galloway. I'm a research scientist based at Northam. I've worked here for more than 25 years, part of the furniture, I think. I'm a plant pathologist, specialised in epidemiology, but for the last 9 or 10 years, I've been the national leader of a decision support tool. I've been the national leader of a project that produces decision support tools. So I'm just going to go through some of the stuff that we do at DPIRD, where you can get decision support tools provided to you. And sorry, I seem to have lost the ability to, there we go. Click on the next slide. So at DPIRD, we have a range of decision support tools that can be found on the AGRIC website. If you go to the App Centre, there you will find that we have reporting type tools. Cindy's already covered these. We have like the Pest Facts WA Reporter app, and then we have the My Pest Guide Reporter. As Cindy mentioned, one is for sort of endemic established pests and diseases, and the other is for things that you might be finding strange or wanting to know what they are. We have a section of weather type apps where we can get the weather station information. So DPIRD has a range of weather stations around WA, and you can actually get real life information from those weather stations through the weather station app. We also have a range of apps that are for crops and livestock management. So the examples here are there's the iLime app, there's a Crop Scout app, Snapbait, there's some lambing planner, sheep condition scoring apps. So, you know, basically anything that's to do with growing crops or managing sheep in your paddocks. We also have a range of foliar disease decision support tools, which is what my project has developed. And I'm still struggling. Oh, I think I went too far. There we go. Sorry, there we go. So, gee, I'm really not doing well this morning. It's Monday. All right, here we go. So there's a range of decision support tools for cereals, canola, and grain legumes. These are produced in a GRDC funded projects on decision support tools and modeling of diseases. So we have a range of tools for wheat, which are the wheat management series, which is WM afterwards. So we have stripe rust WM and yellow spot WM. We have some tools for canola, which are blackleg CM, UCI blackleg CM, which is for upper canopy blackleg infection. The previous one was for the stem canker phase of the disease. And we have sclerotinia CM. We also do a blackleg risk forecast every year between April and June, which is available on the AGRIC website. We have some tools for grain legumes or pulses as well. We have a field pea risk management tool, Black Spot Manager, which indicates when it is safe to sow field peas. This is available on the web. You can have SMS or direct email subscription, and I'll show you at the end where you can get access to those. Probably of minor importance, unless you're coming in from the Ord River, is that we also have a tool for mung bean for management of powdery mildew. So where to get the apps? You can get them directly from the app stores. They're free to download. My examples here are all downloaded using an Apple phone. So to get to the Apple App Store, you look for the blue icon on your phone that looks like 3 little ice cream sticks made into a triangle. You click on that, and what you will get is a screen that says search. You go right down to the bottom right-hand corner, and you will get a little magnifying glass. You click on that, and it'll open a search button. You start to type in the name of the app. So in this example, I'm using the UCI Blackleg CM app. So I start typing in the word UCI, and it starts suggesting UCI Blackleg CM. So I click on that and it opens up a screen at which you can open the app from there. You can also Google the app. So if you can't find them on your phone, you could just Google them. So in this example that I've used, I've gone to my phone or my iPad's like Safari app, and I've started typing in the name of the app, like Blackleg CM. It makes some suggestions. So the first one is that it takes you to the Agric website. And the second one, because you're doing this on an iPhone, would take you to the App Store. So you can install it directly from the App Store, or you can go to the website and you can read a little bit more about what the app can do, and you can download it directly to your iPhone or to an Android device from that site. When you open up this suite of apps, they all have a similar inputs and displays. They will vary slightly depending on the different diseases because we need different information. But when you first open them for the first time, they will have a few 3 to 4 onboarding slides that describe features of the app. They will always default to the summary view on opening. So that will always happen. You'll be asked to enter information about your crop circumstances, and then you can review your results on the summary page or as a graph. And all of the apps will let you share or save. So in my presentation, I'm going to show you use one of the apps as an example, but please remember that all of the displays on all of the apps will be similar. So the example I'm using here is UCI Blackleg CM, which is an app for helping you manage upper canopy infection in your canola. And it's used from about the time when you spot the first flowers coming out in your paddock. This is when you would use this app. So as I mentioned, your default is the summary view. So when you first open it, you'll come up with this table, which will be absolutely meaningless to you because it will not have your information in it. So you need to go to the bottom of the app to the set paddock conditions and click on that to start putting in your circumstances. So once you open that, as I say, each particular tool will look slightly different because we will ask for slightly different things. So in this particular app, we will ask where you are. So we want to know if you're in WA and whereabouts you are. We ask you this not because we're tracking you, but when we need to know a little bit about the weather in the area where you are farming so that we can actually get the app to produce the right results for you. You'll be asked to enter stuff about crop circumstances. Now, crop circumstances can be things about economic return. So it can be things like, what yield are you expecting? Do you know your grain price, the cost of your production? And then we ask questions which are all about the probability of disease developing. So we ask about rotation history. We might ask about the variety you're growing, the crop's growth stage that you're at, and the weather forecast for your area. So, you know, is it going to be wet in the next few days or the next fortnight? So these are the sort of questions we would ask to be entered. We ask quite a lot about your fungicide strategy. So we'll ask about things like the chemical group that you're using. We do this because we try to manage resistance. So if you're trying to use the same group too often, we'll give you a warning and said not recommended to spray more than 2 sprays of this particular group in a season. So once you've put all of that information in, you'll want to know what this all means to you. So you go down to the bottom of the app again and you click Show Results. This will take you back to the summary page, which now should be meaningful because it's actually got your information and it will compare the spray versus no spray options. So these options will give you the most likely, so the best case, the maximum, the worst case, the minimum, and the most likely or the mean estimate of your financial return for doing the spray. So where you see yellow, that's the least likely to get you a return, and purple is the most likely. So in this scenario here, spraying actually would give you a better return and would suggest that it would be a good thing to do. If you're like me, you prefer to see things in graphs. So there is a way to see this in a graph. You can click on what they call the hamburger icon in the top right top left-hand corner, that's the 3 little white stripes. This will open up a menu. You click on the next item down, which is net return, and it should display as a graph. So as I said, in this particular scenario, everything is purple. So it's suggesting very strongly that you should get a probability of a positive return, and that spraying would be a good idea. If it's yellow, it would suggest that you're not going to get a return, and we would suggest that you don't spray, or you really decide for yourself whether you feel comfortable not spraying. All of the apps, you can share your information, so you can share the report. So you can click on share a report, and you can save it and send it by email, or save it as a file to your device. You can send it to whoever you like as an email, so you can send it to yourself, or you can send it, if you're an agro, you can send it to your clients. You can customize your report name, so it might be by paddock or farm or anything like that, and you can export that to yourself. So to get any more information on the disease models, you can contact myself or Jeanette, the previous speaker, and you can ask them to us, for information. So I've given my mobile number. The reason for this is to subscribe to the Black Spot Manager, which gives you the SMS about